and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at how I play Motley Crue's Saints of Los Angeles. Now this is a great track. It was obviously the title track from Saints of Los Angeles, and it does feature one pretty spectacular Mick Mars solo. So go grab yourself a guitar and let's figure this thing out. Okay guys, before we get going, one thing I will mention, make sure your guitar is tuned down to D standard. All Motley Crue songs are in D standard. Basically, this entire solo is going to be based around, you can think of it as A minor. Certain sections it's going to feel kind of like E Phrygian, but don't worry about that stuff too much. Realistically, it's the exact same scale. Anyway, so, and also to make this a bit easier, I'm going to break everything down into sections, just otherwise this is going to be really challenging to remember. Section 1 will look and sound kind of like this. Okay? Alright, so what are we doing here? Basically what we're going to do is a very Mick Mars thing. We're going to do a compound bend right here on the 5th fret of your high E string. And we're going to also be using this note right here, which would be the 8th fret of your B string. And we're going to be bending up a full step to that note there. So we get this. You'll know when you're doing it right because you can hear they're in unison. Otherwise it's going to just clash and sound terrible. Like that or like that. You want it to be about there. That's the sweet spot. Anyway, so Mick's going to go ahead and do that twice. The second time he does it, he kind of puts a little bit of vibrato on it, so just like that. Okay, and then after that what he's going to do is, the way I do this anyways, I just slide all up to the 10th fret on my B string here. Like so. And then I'm going to use my index finger, come over here, and I'm going to grab the 8th fret on the E string back to the 10th fret on the B. So we got just like that. And then I'm going to use my pinky and grab the 10th fret of the high E string. So we got this. And then back to that B string on the 10th fret again. And then back to the 8th fret on the high E string. So we have this. Okay. And because that last little phrase sounded so good, we're going to do it again. So Mick does it twice. Right? Very nice little lick. Okay, so that's all of section 1. All right, so for section 2, what does that look and sound like? So basically for this section, all we're going to be doing is starting off just like we did with section 1. So everything is the same up to that point, okay? So I'm not going to teach that to you. You've already learned it. But instead of repeating this twice, we just do it the once. So we got to there. And then what Mick does is basically a descending threes pattern in A minor. So you can just kind of think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just like that. So basically all I'm doing is I'm just coming down, like I said, A minor. So starting off here on the 8th fret of the high E string, 8, 7, 5. And then I come back up here and I start the phrase of descending threes again, but now I'm starting on the 7th fret of the high E string. Okay, so it looks like this up to this point. Okay, and that's all of that section. All right, and the next section should look and sound kind of like this. All right, so to start off this section, what you're going to need to do is find yourself this note right here, which would be the 8th fret on your B string, and you're going to bend it up a full step with a pinch harmonic. Just like that, and you're going to do it twice. With lots of vibrato on it, okay? So that's how it starts. All right, then following that, what you're going to be doing is more compound bends. So what we're going to do is you're going to come up here onto the 8th fret of your high E string, and you're going to be playing that note, and the compound bend that you're going to be doing is grabbing the 11th fret of the B string, and we're going to be bending it up to the 13th, like so. Okay, so all together up to this point, here's what we have. Okay, good. Now all I want you to do is do a compound bend, but go back 1 fret, like so. So we got this so far. And then what you're going to do now is a really quick compound bend back where you just started this phrase up on the 8th fret. So we have this so far. Okay? Now to finish off this phrase, what I need you to do is come up here onto the 10th fret of your high E string, and we're going to be using the 13th fret of your B string and bending that one up to the 15th, and that's the last compound bend. Okay, so all together, here's what we have. Now, this compound bend here happens really quickly in the recording. You almost don't hear it. You can omit it if you like, or just avoid the compound bend and just quickly touch on it. I'm pretty sure Mick is doing it, but in some of the live videos I've seen him playing it, he kind of seems to skip it too, so up to you, use your discretion. You can definitely hear it in the recording though. All right, the next section. Let me have a quick sip of coffee and we'll get into that. Oh, that's good. Okay, so what'll that look and sound like? So for this section, this is kind of a quick, finicky pull-off section, and it'll look and sound kind of like this. Okay, and all that Mick is doing here is basically on your high E string and your B string here. You're going to start off on the E string and you're going to be doing the 3rd and 2nd fret to the open, just like that, and then you're going to come over here onto the B string and do the exact same thing. Now Mick repeats this little phrase 4 times, so go ahead and do that 4 times. Good. Okay, so the next piece of this little phrase here is this piece here. Okay, and for that, all Mick is doing is he's coming up here onto the B string on the 5th fret, and he's going to play that, pull off back to the 3rd fret on the B string, and then off to 0, like that. Then he jumps over here onto his G string and he plays his 4th fret, pulling off to the 2nd fret, and then pulling off to 0. And he does that twice, so do that twice. And the way I'm finishing this is I'm just grabbing right here on the B string on the 3rd fret, plucking that and sliding immediately into the 5th fret, and putting a bit of vibrato on it, okay? All right, so the entire phrase up to this point should look and sound a little bit like this. Okay, perfect. All right, so the next section here. This section is a bit tricky. What will that look and sound like? It'll look and sound kind of like this. Okay, now this kind of sounds a bit exotic because it seems to be rooted around this E, so it feels kind of like E Phrygian. But if you're not familiar with that kind of mode, just go ahead and keep thinking about everything as being A minor. So again, all I need you to do is think A minor, starting off right here on the 3rd fret on the high E string. You play that, come down here to the 1st fret of the E, play that once, play the open string, come onto the B string, and just repeat the exact same thing you just did. Okay, so we have this so far. Okay, this is where things get a little bit trickier. You're going to come on now to the G string, play the 2nd fret. Okay, and then you're going to play that open. All right, so we got this so far. Just like that. Now, after you've done that, you got it. We're just moving through the scale here. You're going to jump onto your D string, and you're going to play right here the 3rd fret, 4th fret, open. Okay, so we have this so far. Okay, and you're just going to go ahead and repeat that on the A string. Okay, so all together up to that point. Good. Now to finish this, of course, we got to get onto this big E string here, and we're going to be doing 3, 1, 0. Okay, and that's how the whole thing will end. Just like that, okay? All right, the next section, this is actually a pretty cool run. It'll look and sound kind of like this. Okay, looks really hard, looks kind of flashy. Basically, we're just going to be sliding around, and it's nothing too crazy. You're just going to be tremolo picking. So all you're going to be doing, again, we're thinking more or less in A minor. What I want you to do is grab right here on the 3rd fret of your D string, and that's one of the notes we're going to be using. So you're going to play that. You're going to go back one. So now we're onto the 2nd fret, up to the 3rd fret, back. So you can already see the pattern here. And Mick is going to be doing a that kind of thing, right? So again, on the D string, we're just looking at 3rd, 2nd, 5th, 3rd, 7th, 5th, okay? But he's doing this with tremolo picking, so it'll be kind of a, that sort of thing, okay? So just work on this a little bit, you know, that kind of movement, and eventually just work on your picking speed to get that up to pace. Once you get to here, where that phrase kind of stops on the 5th fret of your D string, what I'm doing and what I think Mick is doing, I've seen some videos, is it looks like he's doing a bit of a finger roll onto this note here, which would be the 5th fret of the G string. And we're just going to be carrying on through A minor like we were before, up 2, back 1, up 2, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. So once you've made your little finger roll onto the G string, we're going to be doing the 5th fret on the G string, the 3rd fret, all the way up here to the 7th fret, back to the 5th fret, up here to the 9th fret, back to the 7th fret, and then he's going to slide back to the 9th and put some vibrato on it. Okay, so it'll look like this. That sort of thing, okay? So again with this one, just take your time. You know, play it maybe as single notes until you can get the tremolo picking to work with it. That sort of thing, and once you get it, that'll be the entire phrase. So, let's play that whole phrase starting from the beginning up to this point. Good. Alright, so congratulations, we've made it now to the last section. So basically for this section, all Mick is going to be doing is compound bends. So just like you were doing when we started this whole thing off, you know, with that sort of thing, we're going to be doing that again. But now, we're going to be up here on the 12th fret of your high E string. And you're going to start off this entire phrase by just doing one of these and holding it for a bit. Okay, so that's the first note. And then what he's going to do is just a very simple chromatic walk up of 4 notes, but all using these compound bends again. So this whole phrase will look kind of like this. That sort of thing. So all I'm doing is after I've got my big long sustained compound bend there on the 12th, and of course bending the 15 up to the 17, I'm going to do it again. Then I'm going to move up 1 fret and do it again. Move up 1 fret, do it again. Move up 1 fret and do it again. Okay, so we got... And then Mick just does this exact same thing over again. And that's the entire solo. Alright kids, that entire solo played together slowly should be kind of like this. And there you go, that is the entire solo. Well, there you have it. That is the entire solo from Saints of Los Angeles. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did learn anything, please make sure you consider subscribing to the channel or hitting that like button, or both. That'd be great. Thanks a bunch. Anyhow, that's all I really have for you guys today. So as per usual, just keep on shredding, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.